Have you ever felt like speaking English fluently is like trying to climb some impossible mountain? Well, today we're going to explore a really simple, almost radical idea for getting to the top with a surprisingly small toolkit. So let's dive right in.
First things first, let's start with a number that stops most learners right in their tracks, 170,000. Yeah, that's about how many words are in use in the English language. It's just a massive, intimidating figure.
So just be honest with yourself for a moment. Do you think it's even possible to memorize all of those? Of course not. No way. And you know what? That's the good news. You absolutely do not have to.
Now, what if I told you the number you really need to be focused on is this one? Just 521. That's it. This is the core secret we're going to unpack today. How you can get to clear, confident, everyday English with just a tiny fraction of the dictionary.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with that big, scary problem, then reveal the 521-word secret. After that, I'll show you why patterns are way more important than grammar, give you a simple daily routine, and finally, we're going to tackle the biggest hurdle of all, fear.
All right, let's jump into our first section, the 17,000-word problem, or as I like to call it, the myth of vocabulary.
You know, most of us think the reason English is so tough is that we just don't know enough words. But the real problem, the real blocker, isn't a lack of vocabulary, it's that we're using the wrong method. We've been taught to just collect words like stamps, but that's not how language actually works in the real world. Which brings us right to the solution, the 52-word secret. Let's really look at how focusing on fewer words can completely change the game for you. So, what's the big difference in the approach? Well, the traditional, wrong method has us trying to memorize endless lists of words. The smart method is totally different. It's about mastering a small, core set of words and just using them over and over again. The goal here is repetition, not just collecting more words. So, what are these 521 magic words? They're called high-frequency words. These are the simple, everyday building blocks of conversation. We're talking words like I, you, go, good, time, home. I mean, think about it. Even native speakers use the same small core vocabulary for almost all of their daily chats.
And this right here, this is the mindset shift we all need to make. English is a tool, not a test. Your goal is not to impress people, it's to express yourself. Simple as that. Once you stop trying to score points, all that pressure just melts away.
Okay, let's move on and see how this all connects. We're going to talk about why patterns beat grammar. This is really the secret to getting the words out of your head and into a conversation, smoothly.
See, our brains are basically pattern-finding machines. So instead of memorizing a million complicated grammar rules, we can just master a few simple sentence structures, just like these. Think of them like pre-built roads for your words. Once you have these pathways down, speaking starts to feel almost automatic.
Seriously, just think about it. Take a pattern like I am going to, and then just plug in a simple verb from your list. I am going to work. I am going to eat. I am going to learn. All of a sudden, with just these 5 patterns and a handful of your 521 words, you can create hundreds of real, practical, useful sentences. This is how you build fluency, not by overthinking, but by making it automatic.
So, how do we turn this into a real habit? Well, that brings us to section 4, your 15-minute daily routine. This is the actual plan for building that consistency.
Look, forget studying for hours. You don't need it. All you need is 15 minutes a day, broken into 3 tiny little sessions. In the morning, for 5 minutes, speak your plans out loud. In the afternoon, for 5 minutes, talk about your work. And at night, for 5 minutes, describe your day. That's it. It's simple, it's manageable, and it's incredibly effective.
And please, remember this, consistency beats intensity every single time. A little bit of practice every single day is so much more powerful than cramming for hours once a week. This slow, steady approach is what builds real, lasting skill.
Okay, let's get to our final section, and honestly, it might be the most important one. Speaking without fear, and how we can overcome the real enemy of fluency.
That fear of speaking, it's not actually about the English language itself. It's about the crushing pressure we put on ourselves to be perfect. By limiting yourself to just 521 simple words you already know, you basically remove that pressure. Your brain feels safe, and when your brain feels safe, it lets you speak.
You have to change your relationship with mistakes. Every little error is just a sign that you're trying, that you're out there learning. If you wait until you're perfect to start speaking, you'll be waiting forever. So embrace those mistakes. They're your best teachers on this whole journey.
And this is where true confidence comes from. Just knowing more words, believe it or not, doesn't actually do much for our confidence. But repetition, the act of actually speaking those simple patterns over and over and over, that's what makes all the difference. Confidence isn't built from knowledge, it's built from action.
So let's redefine what fluency even means. It doesn't mean speaking super fast or using big, impressive words. Fluency is simply the ability to speak comfortably, without constantly stopping and searching for words. It's that feeling of ease, of flow. And when you feel comfortable, you speak more. When you speak more, you improve. It's a really beautiful cycle.
So, we're going to end with this question. The choice is totally yours. You now have a clear, simple, and really powerful path forward. The only question left is, will you take that first step with your 521 words, starting today?